Hello and welcome back to Factorio. I
Hello.
honestly do not remember what point we got to. We appear to have a
No,
lot of copper.
It's been a while. We have lots of copper there. We have lots of iron as well.
Oh yes, we do have copper and iron. Yes,
I assume this is where we're going to do some crafting.
we'd set up a bus. That was what we got to. We have a copper bus and an iron bus. And I'm not sure we had a lot else going on.
I automated the sciences down here.
Yes.
So we need to figure out what science we want to do next.
So the end goal in this is launch a rocket, isn't it?
Yes. It's quite a way off though.
It is.
I'd quite like to get some trains running.
It would be nice to get some trains running. It means we can get ores from a lot further away.
So should we... I'll start on engines. Because they are painful to actually make.
We might want to consider sort of destroying a couple more enemy bases.
Yeah. I mean, how close are they?
When we're getting ores from a bit of a distance away, there's going to be enemies near where we're getting the ores from. We're going to want to have to deal with. Equally, I remember how annoying it was to destroy the enemy base closest to us, so maybe we're not quite ready for that yet.
Well, I think it's fairly soon after trains. There's a tank or something we could get. Oh, there's the car after we've...
Yeah,
it requires the same tech as the railway. There's the car, you can fit a gun onto that and put ammo in it and drive that around. Makes it a little bit easier to not die.
Right, what have we got going on that I could look at doing?
Well, I remember that you had all this copper and iron going up here because you had some plan with it.
I probably did. It doesn't mean I remember what the plan was. I'm also intrigued as to why these two furnaces aren't working.
They have no furnaces? I don't know.
Oh no, it's just no copper ore. We're not getting enough ore for the furnaces. That's fair.
Yeah,
we've got more furnaces than we need.
Well,
really,
you future planned it.
Yeah.
I think was your reasoning. We just need to catch on what we did last time.
And that would be fine. And I could easily put down a few more miners if we had somewhere to be sending the copper and iron. But currently there is nowhere for it to go. So
what we want to do is figure out how we want to set up a chain of automation stuff. So iron gears, for example. We want to pull iron off here, make it into the iron gears, and then have the iron gears go into the next machine that actually requires them.
Yeah.
Whether we're going to have a separate iron gear maker for everything that requires an iron gear, which is what I tend to do because it's slightly easier, or if we're going to have a separate belt just for iron gears.
But yeah, it would probably only be the one belt rather than four, because...
I mean, it could work because these splitters, if you actually click on them, you can filter them.
Yeah.
So we could have it filtering so that all the iron gears go to one side. So we could have one transport belt for iron gears and shotgun shells or something.
Yeah. You can have stuff share belts.
Yeah. Which might be a good way to do it.
Shall I look at automating iron gears? Because that is something we're going to need a lot of, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I've got a miniature version. I'll make some auto crafting bits. Because I can do that.
One of them. There's a start.
Oh, another thing that happened is you can pick stuff up off the belts, can't you?
Yes, I can press F and pick stuff up, yes.
I can't.
Oh, that's sad.
So we need to make sure there's a chest like this that I'm stood next to, so I can actually grab stuff.
There should be one for both copper and iron, I believe. They're just not necessarily in the most reasonable place.
I don't know where the one for copper
is.
Oh yeah, because that's a sensible place to put it. So the problem with having an iron belt, or an iron gear belt and a copper wire belt and stuff like that is getting it to the other side without mixing everything up.
Yeah. Well, it will be...
You probably want to use some of these. Because otherwise, if the belts are going to go parallel to these, you're going to be putting it back directly on where it is.
You rebalance occasionally anyway.
What, you probably don't want to put it on the same one as the transport belt, because that's already full of iron, so we wouldn't have anywhere to put it down on.
Well, I'm not putting it... That's not putting it on, though, at the moment. That's just why I'm going to take it off.
Yeah. So say you have... If you move to the right a little bit, so I can actually put this thing down. So you've got one of them.
Yeah, I was about to put that down there.
So you've got a transport belt here. It's going to be a little difficult to actually get that on and make it so it's expandable.
Yeah, that wasn't where I was going to put the belt, though.
Okay. That's why I was imagining the belt, though.
Yeah, no, I'm not 100% decided on how I'm laying this out yet. So, currently zero planning has been completed. This is going to be making iron gears. I'm going to need some small electric poles, of which I have none. Let's make some small electric poles. Honestly, probably something that's worth looking at automating.
Yeah, I think the first bits we should really try and automate are the key bits. So electric poles, the furnaces maybe, and the autocrafter itself.
I'm also having to get used to the controls again. So it's several months since we started this.
Yeah.
Right, what have we got? So, I'd probably do the... So I'd have another bus, so this wouldn't be all iron gears. Iron gears would just be on one of these belts. Probably.
Okay.
Or would they? I probably wouldn't have that. Just be a 2-wide bus. And we put iron gears on there.
Okay, so my thoughts when I was thinking about this is, if you wanted a second iron gear maker, where would you put that?
Yes, at the moment it's not terribly scalable, I'll admit that.
Yeah. So if I make a version of my plan
move the gear. I might move this belt quickly. Give me a sec. It's going to go over here now.
I don't have any for normal size grabbers. So my plan was to do something like that.
Yeah.
And then you could expand it by just copying and pasting that along.
The problem is then the gears kind of start blocking stuff in. It gets a bit awkward to access the iron. Whereas if I put them to the other side of the machines,
you could.
They're out the way.
But how many iron transport belts do we really need? Because we can branch these off and have the iron gears only go to specific places.
Yeah. I mean, really, the problem is we're working off the main bus. If we weren't working off the main bus, this would be a lot better.
Yeah.
So the main bus is just meant to transport them to different areas of the factory.
Okay. So how about we start splitting some of these off? Because I think at least one of these should go to a steel production. Because that's what we need for the engines.
I've got another idea. That.
Okay.
This coal is going to get in the way. That's the main. Well, every time I try and do anything, the coal is in the way.
How about a tunnel? How do you feel about a tunnel?
Well, that's fine. I mean, I think long term we're going to need to change up how we do the coal.
Long term it's going to change anyway, because we'll change when we get some trains. We'll change where it's being delivered to. We have it being delivered directly next to where it's actually being split.
Have you got any? Are we auto-crafting splitters and stuff or not?
No, I've only crafted the stuff I needed for science, so that could just happen in the background and we can focus on building.
That's fine. I'm happy to manually craft stuff. I just didn't want to do it if there was the materials already being auto-crafted.
So I was going to keep all the science stuff automated down here, because then it's all kind of separate.
Yeah.
And then it's its own little loop. But all the other crafting we can put up here somewhere.
Right. Just wait for my stuff to be made.
I assume you're going to do something like...
no.
Whoops. that?
No.
No. I will remove all those iron plates then.
Maybe actually that could start there.
Did you want iron plates on that one?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Then we go.
I'm just going to guess what you want. Which I assume is that.
Yeah. And then we need a power cable. And make that 2 gears. Okay, it's not scalable at the moment because there's coal in the way, so we'd have to sort of skip a block, but that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, we could always put some extra tunnels in. But, yeah. It works.
Or alternative, there's another option, is we could go like that.
But then I think you have the same problem with it, the iron being boxed in by the other pipes.
Well, it's not now because you can split and tunnel under a bit easier.
Yeah, but since we have anything more than the iron gears, it might start being a problem.
Well, it's why I do it in batches of 2 and 4. With 4,
okay.
If you have a gap of 2, that means you can split and tunnel, and if you can tunnel under 4 with even the shortest tunnels.
Yeah. Okay, so if we are automating engines as the next
I would
thing,
like to get that on both sides of the belt, though.
Or the iron gears.
Yeah.
I keep being pushed around randomly.
Ah, there we go. That's done.
Do you want to? Oh, you wouldn't like that. I thought you meant you wanted one over here. Well, if we didn't have that, if we instead had it just on one side, we could have something else being put onto the other side.
We could, but then I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. A, it sort of limits throughput.
Yeah.
And B, it makes it a bit awkward to split them at a later date. Like, you can, but it's a bit annoying.
Also, this isn't going to work where it's currently splitting because this long-handed inserter is trying to put it on top of the splitter, which I don't think it likes.
Well, that's just irritating. I mean, if the coal wasn't here, we could just move everything up one, but
but the coal is here.
The coal
we
is
could just move the coal. We could just move the coal up by one.
This coal is so irritating. Could we just not have the coal?
I'm going to move it up by 2 because there's a pole.
Of course there is. There's always a pole. Right, I'm going to look at copper wire next because that's the other thing we need a lot of.
Yeah.
So that's just copper plates.
I think rather than having the crafting where we've currently got it, it might be worth bringing all the iron out the other side of this coal line over here and doing all the crafting
just
this
do it
side.
After the coal, which is probably a better option, but
yeah. There you go. That should make a bit of a gap for you. And there's one for copper as well.
Yeah,
so in that case, do I not need to move the coal
I'm at belts.
transport?
Where do I pick up belts from? There.
Are we making belts?
Yeah, you are putting belts in a chest.
Ah,
Great thing.
that's useful of me.
You're making them for science.
Yeah.
Right, there we go.
Yeah. So we could have this top branch of the iron making the gears, we can have the bottom branch of the copper making other stuff. I'm just going to mirror what you're doing. I'm trying to stick to your plans because you seem to have some sort of vision for where this is all going to go.
Right, that will go there. I think it's far enough away. Because I need the belt to be there. Yeah, that should be fine.
I need some splitters.
And the long-handed inserters.
Lagging a little bit for me.
That is not ideal.
No.
Right, there's a way to sort of copy the setting from one machine to the other, isn't there?
Yeah, you just use the copy and paste tool.
I don't know what that is. What?
So on the bottom right, there's the 10 buttons. One of them's called copy, the other one's called paste. You can also use Control-C and Control-V.
This is not working as yeah. I think we're talking cross purposes, possibly.
So, yeah, bottom right, you see there's buttons.
No.
Where your inventory is, you've got line 1 and line 2.
Yeah.
And you've got Alt, copy, paste, blue button, red button.
No, I've just got Alt.
What?
I've just got Alt. There's a little 3 dots next to it, and if I click that I can see undo, copy, cut, paste, import, stream, blueprint.
Okay.
But they're all turned off, I can't turn them on.
I've got them all turned on.
Well, it won't let me turn them on. Not allowed.
Okay, so the copy and paste tool is only really useful when you've got robots anyway, because then
but that's not what I'm talking about anyway. There is a way to say this machine, all these machines have this recipe really quickly without going into each of them and setting it manually. There's a control for it, but I can't remember what the control is.
Oh, I thought it was just that copy and paste thing. So I have no idea.
Where's the help menu? Tips and tricks, it's in here, I remember this much. Copy paste entity settings. Shift left click and shift right click.
Ah.
So if I shift left click the one that's set up, and then shift right click the other, it should work. There's also a control that allows you to turn on being able to see what everything's doing.
Yeah, that's the left Alt. That's Alt.
Is that
the one button you do have? Yeah.
Right. Then if I shift left click,
there we go,
and shift right click, there we go. Right, I'm learning the controls.
Good. Right, we have copper wires being made. Engine has finished. So let's start on logistics 2.
I've run out of splitters, wonderful.
Do you want one there?
Yeah. And then we'll do the same for the copper later once I build some.